And welcome to the Crawford Podcasting Network. Tom's Take Plus One. I haven't done this podcast in several months. I want to get back into it because there's so many incredible people throughout Greater Lansing, which I focus in my hometown. I got a gem of a guest here. Her name is Melanie McNamara, founder and life coach of Melanie McNamara Coaching. And my first question to you is, Melanie, how did you handle you didn't have to commute anywhere this morning because we're in Greater Lansing. We had some ice. Did you survive that?
I looked ahead at my calendar yesterday when I heard we were getting it, and I was like,
Yeah.
shoot, I don't have to go anywhere in the next 48 hours. So, no,
Yeah.
I'm coming at you live from my home office here.
All right. Well, that's great. That's always a great place. When I came across you on LinkedIn, I'm a huge LinkedIn fan, and obviously, with your Lansing-based background, you've lived in Lansing for 30 years. You indicate that's a long time. So you're a legitimate, even though you're from Portage, is it? You're in the west side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. You're a Lansingite right now, through and through.
Yeah.
I mean, 30 years is a long time. You and your husband lived here, so that's terrific. But what really intrigued me, Melanie, about your background is in leadership and things. But you reference yourself as a confidence coach for women in particular, which I think to me it's just the most critical attribute one could have in any profession, in sports, which I cover a lot, or just in business, or just everyday life. And I take it you agree with that.
Oh, I totally agree. We need it starts with self-confidence, right? So there's a difference between self-confidence and confidence.
Okay.
Yeah. Want to hear
Well,
more?
yeah, yeah, and I want to hear, yeah, because here's my thing about confidence. It's like you can say you're a confident person, but man, you really got to live it every
Mhm.
day. And I have this fallback on confidence, a secret go to within my own mind if I feel uncomfortable. Just not care for a second. I don't care what they think of me. I'm going to do what I feel is right. And if they're going to
Mhm.
judge me, they judge me. But if I feel like, I'm just going to go up there and just do it. And then all of a sudden you get in the flow and then it builds.
I love that. Yeah, that's so good. I like to say if you're willing to feel any emotion, there's nothing you're unwilling to do. If you're
Right.
willing to feel embarrassment or doubt or any of the other things that might come up when you're doing something that requires a little bit of confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. I talked to about the fact that you're from Lansing, and you've when you look at your background, and you're going to talk about it here briefly, or extensively, whatever you feel comfortable with. You've overcome some bumps in the road, Melanie.
Mhm.
With your career, you've had some life challenges, and I guess I'd love to know just a little bit of the background because you started in business quite a few years ago. You got into real estate
Mhm.
and then now you're into coaching. If you could kind of take us through not a 15-second elevator speech, but a longer elevator speech, and talk us maybe what some of the secret sauces you were to success that get you through some of those hurdles, if you could share with us.
Yeah, I think redefining failure might be the overarching theme there and relationship building. But, so I worked in the restaurant business for many years. I know you're big into promoting restaurants.
Yeah, I am.
Um,
Yes, right on.
and then I ended up we started having children, and I was a stay-at-home mom for a little over 10 years or so. And then
Okay.
I don't think you knew that I opened a drive-through espresso cafe.
Okay.
So, I did that, and that was open for 11 whole months, and I'm so proud of myself, and,
Yes.
redefining failure and what that looked like through that, I had a lot of life lessons and business lessons, and I met some of the most amazing people who are like family to me now, and I would
Wow.
never have met them had I not done that. And then I got into real estate. It never occurred to me to get into real estate, even though my husband was a builder, he was a home builder at the time.
Okay.
It didn't
That's
think
a
to me like I'd
tie-in.
want
Yeah.
so, I was in real estate and I was mentored by some of the most amazing, strong women, that I've ever met and, worked for, some different brokerages actually along the way. And then at one point, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2016,
Wow.
which shifted that trajectory.
I'll
And
bet.
I know you wanted to talk about that a little bit, and I'm happy
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, because you hear stories about, and I'd like you to address that because, and there's been some really inspiring people who are cancer survivors that I've been, had a chance to meet and interact with, and you hear stories about being positive, surrounding yourself with this great supportive team, and obviously trying to get the best medical care possible, but it seems like a daunting hurdle there. You got to have some moments like the why me moments we always talk about, but and the I can't do this, and of course you obviously did conquer this, and so what was that process like, and what was your go to kind of thought process that
Mhm.
got you through those tough moments?
Mhm. Um, I my go-to thought was, "This is an adventure.
Yeah.
This is this is just." I like it in the why me, I don't think I really ever had that, because 'cause I'm like, "Well, why not me?"
Okay.
And, why somebody else and not me? I don't even know if I even thought too much about it, but when I was first diagnosed, um a lot of the women who come to me are in burnout in their life and their job, and I know exactly where they were because when I was diagnosed, it almost felt like a relief to be able to step out of that life that I felt so burnt out, so out of control, so trapped in my
Okay.
life. And so now I have this diagnosis, and I won't say from the very first moment I was like, this is an adventure, but um it was just like, "Okay, all right, what are we gonna do now?" And I do credit my husband in the very beginning in one of our, appointments. I kept denying, I'm like, "No, it can't be cancer, nothing bad happens to me ever."
Yeah. Yeah.
But we came out of, it was like a radiology appointment to really get diagnosed, and I said to him, I said, "I thought this was just gonna be a little something we'd have to take care of." And he goes, "It is. It's just something we're gonna have to take care of." And I was like, "Oh, that's a nice perspective."
Yeah, that's kind of a rock perspective, nothing's gonna
Exactly,
yeah,
yes.
you're define that this is, we got this, the kind of the we got this kind of thing,
Yes,
right?
yeah. So, like, okay, so taking that perspective, like, this is just something I'm gonna deal with head on, and I did switch. You're just really like, I'm writing my own story. It's a story. This is the part where I have cancer.
Okay.
This is the part where is a phrase I use for myself a lot when I'm going through challenges. "Oh, this is the part where everything sucks and it's and we're going through it, and this is where I get to decide how I wanna show up for this journey."
Yeah.
And that's what I did, but I will say there were 2 moments that really stand out to me as, um, allowing emotions and feeling them. Towards the beginning, it hit me, and I finally realized, "Oh, this isn't just only something we have to take care of. This could be the end of my life."
Yeah.
And I will say I laid in bed for a few hours. I was sobbing, I was emoting, like, all of the things, and I took a nap. I took a couple Vicodin and a nap, and when I woke up, I decided I'm like, "Okay, I've processed that. Now I get to cancer may take my life, but it's not gonna take my experience of my life." And so, the funny thing was we were having a comedy, fundraiser at through our brokerage that evening, and I said to my husband, "Okay, I'm gonna get ready to go." He goes, "You wanna go out now, tonight?" I'm like, "Yes, I am not gonna miss this."
Yeah. Good for
So
you.
that mindset of an adventure, this is the part where it's a story, all of that helped me.
Wow, that shows a lot of inner strength that I don't
Mhm.
think I could do that. I would probably be distracted if I had a health challenge like that. You had to really compartmentalize that night then, right?
Yeah, it was part of me was just like, I'm just gonna go be with these people who I just love and adore. We're gonna listen to some comedy. Um, there was no pressure on me. I was supposed to be one of the bartenders. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. That sounds like
Yeah.
a lot of work.
Yeah,
But
that was
I'm
too
just
much
gonna
work.
Cancer taught me a lot of things. One of the things it taught me was how to receive and how to really receive love and help and support um and just everything. and also, holding space for everyone else's emotions around
Yeah,
me.
sure.
Um, that was a big thing too. Um, but yeah, it was good. One of the stories I like to tell about getting through cancer was it occurred to me one day as I was laying in my bed, sick from chemo. I couldn't move. I didn't even couldn't watch TV or read. It made me nauseous, and I was
Oh,
just staring out the window. I couldn't sleep, so I'm staring out the window at the
wow.
trees, rustling in the breeze, and I thought to myself, it suddenly finally occurred to me, the other side of this is not better than here, because there, where I was not better than here.
Yeah,
So everything in life is simply a moment, and you can be present in that moment, without in a rush to get out of it. Because so often, taking this back to business, we're in a rush to get through things so that
yeah,
we can reach the pinnacle, so we can get the success or the thing or the whatever, the goal. But it's the journey. Like, being present in the journey is the rewarding part of it.
right, right. Well, I mean, you have a heck of a story. Everybody's got a story to tell, and you got a
Thank
quite a
you.
bit, an inspiring story there, Melanie. And so, that being said, now take us through this coaching business and how you've
Mhm,
used your own personal experience to inspire your clients, or and get them through. Because from what we in our discussions before the podcast, there are some clients that come to you that are very stressed, which is very normal this year, these
mhm.
time of days in
Yeah,
our country, and overwhelmed and feeling like, oh my god, life's taking over. So
mhm.
what's the first step in the process, if you will, how to assist them and get them going in a positive direction?
Yeah. The first thing, if a client comes to me and there's a lot of heightened emotions, we work on just settling the nervous system, because we
Okay.
all have, like, elevated nervous systems at some point where we go into fight or flight or freeze. You've heard of that, right?
Yeah.
So, grounding, teaching them some techniques to kind of ground themselves when the emotions are really high, and and then as we move forward, we talk about how to actually allow emotions in our body without resisting or distracting or pushing them away. But that's the first thing, like, okay, let's settle the nervous system first. And then we really work on separating out, um, I'll say, like, the facts from the story. Like, cuz there are facts in life, the circumstances, a cancer diagnosis, or, numbers in your business, or the amount in your bank account, or whatever it is, the words people say. Those are
Right.
just circumstances. They're facts. Anyone could agree on. And then we create stories around them. And the stories are created by the programming we got from the day we were born, from our parents, from society, from our peers, business colleagues, whatever it is. And that story is also influenced by, our gender, and, maybe our religion or the way we were brought up, things like that. So, separating that out first and seeing what part of the story is creating so much anxiety or suffering, you know, or confusion, even if it's just like confusion or a little bit of anxiety or stress or worry or self-doubt. And then we can really start to piece that together for them in a way that helps them move forward.
Right. So how, as your client base locally here, Melanie, I mean, and take us through how that business evolved after you got out of real estate. If you could take us through that, and kind of just give us a nutshell what that service is about and how people can, contact you about
Yeah, absolutely. So I started in 2019, 2018, really getting interested in life coaching. That was after cancer. I'm like, I
it. Okay.
life coached myself through cancer. Now how do I figure out how to life coach myself in my real life, back
Yeah.
to real life again?
Yes. Yes.
So I found life coaching and I started my business in 2020. And so I have clients on the other side of the world, because I'm in coaching communities and I've put things out online and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Um, but the majority of my clients right now are local, because for me it is about relationships.
Yeah.
It's through meeting people and offering to help them, and then referrals and word of mouth. Like, I've helped people here and there, because it's not like I help them, work on themselves in order to create a business and life that they really love. Um, so it's an all around kind of coaching, but the majority of my clients are local.
Okay, and they're female typically. Is that correct?
Yeah, I have definitely coached men, but the way I put a feminist lens on my coaching, I'm like, how are
Okay.
you conditioned as a woman in society um, to be? And it makes sense that you're thinking this way now. And so that doesn't mean I don't coach men. It's just mainly women are very drawn to me and the way I coach and the way I can show them uh, how they've created their results now and how to move forward.
What would you say? Not to make this a template of your typical client, but what are some examples of people that come to you? What are their biggest struggles? Is it within their career? Is it with their
Mhm,
personal life? And do they combine those dilemmas
mm,
and share that with you? And take us through
mhm.
that process if you could.
Yeah, so and most of my clients are very high achieving, successful women with they're either entrepreneurial or there are corporate women. Most of them have their own business, a lot of real estate agents. Some of them are hiring teams or they have people that work for them. Some of them are solopreneurs. So that's kind of and then they come to me and they a lot of times they're looking to grow their business, and then sometimes they're looking like, "I don't know how to step away. I don't know how to delegate,
Right.
things, and I just take everything on myself." And so they've created a lot of pressure and, a lot of have tos and shoulds in their lives. That's the other thing cancer taught me is, let's separate out what we think are have tos
Okay.
and, like, reframe that. So, I help them either take a vacation and delegate and put their phones away and, like, actually be present with their family, because they've worked so hard to build their business. Now they wanna focus more on family. And
Yeah.
it really how we do one thing is how we do most things. So seeing the way they think about their business is often not serving them in the way that they're thinking about how to live the life they wanna live outside of work.
Right, right. When I was in corporate PR, we always had these things in like the need to haves and the nice to haves, and
Yeah,
everybody seems to lean more towards the nice to haves,
yeah,
as that might be more fun.
yeah,
And is that part of the process? You got to really figure out your priorities, what you need to have to keep my business going, need to have to balance my personal life, my family with my business. I take it.
yeah, and one of my favorite questions is that, "How can I make this easy?" Because our brains wanna complicate everything, and so, helping my clients, like, make lives in their business everything just so much easier for themselves, actually elevates their business and their experience of their personal lives.
Right, right. So, okay, last question. I got to ask you. Okay, I know you weren't brought up in Lansing, but you're like I said, you're one of us that 3 decades worth of living here. I mean, what's the greatest thing about not just living here in Lansing area, here in the Holt area, but just being part of the business community and having clients? Well, how would you
Mm.
define Lansing people?
Mm, so supportive.
Okay.
Just the community, the variety of businesses and areas, like what do I want to say? Like the community, the feeling, the vibe of
Yeah.
different areas. Just to name two, like Old Town and Rio Town. Like
Yeah.
awesome places to go visit, different vibes, and yet like and everyone's just I don't know, I love the area. I'm a certified tourism ambassador as well, which is
You're
a fun
kidding
thing.
me. I didn't know that. Wow.
People need to check out Choose Lansing. It's an amazing go to the website and learn all about
Okay.
what they're doing in the community and getting involved. But
Okay.
yeah,
So
just the community of business owners always supporting local small businesses.
it's like I'm talking to too many grumpy old people in my age bracket, but I mean, it's like, or young people on the other side, it's like, oh, there's nothing to do here. They want to go somewhere else. They want to go, they want to go on a cruise or something like that. There's nothing to do in Lansing. I mean, there's
Mm.
things to do. It's all about an attitude, though, don't you think? Which probably ties into, your coaching. You got to have a positive attitude.
Well, yeah, it's cognitive bias. Our brains
Yeah.
are going to look for what we direct it to look for. So as soon as you tell yourself, well, there's just nothing to do, that's all you're going to see. You're not going to see all the things that there are to do. Now, don't get me wrong, I would love a vacation. Like I love travel and
Yeah. No, I
but
get that.
also there is so much to do.
Right. There
So,
really is,
yeah.
but it
Mhm.
is about attitude. Well, Melanie, why don't you kind of give us in a nutshell how people can reach out to you, and what the kind of, maybe encapsulate, what the services that might be most relevant to them that you could assist them through any challenges they might have.
Yeah, you can find me on the socials at Melanie McNamara Coaching. So just send me a direct message, whatever. You can email DYIL, stands for Design Your Ideal Life, DYIL with Melanie at
Okay.
gmail dot
Okay.
com. And what I usually do is we might have a conversation or whatever through messaging, and then we'll set up a consultation, and it's a whole hour of you sharing with me, like, what's going on for you, what do you want in your life, and what's getting in the way, and then I share with you my perspective, what I see, and how we could work together, and then I like to say we decide together if it's an amazing fit, like, if it's a hell yes, if it's oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know if we could swear on your podcast, but
No, yes, absolutely.
and, because I learned sales in a way that never really felt good to me, like a manipulative sale like, if you don't like to call yourself a salesperson, it's because you were taught a manipulative, icky way to be
Yeah,
salesy.
exactly.
So I'm just all about, like, if this feels delightful and feels like the perfect fit, then we can talk about working together.
Okay, well, that sounds terrific. Well, I'll include all that information on our post here on LinkedIn and other platforms. And Melanie, it's certainly been inspiring to have you on here, and let's do this again here on Tom's Take Plus One on the Crawford Podcasting Network. Anything I can do for you, let me know, and keep up that confidence coaching. That sounds like a wonderful thing you're doing.
Thank you, Tom. I really appreciate you having me. It's been
All
fun.
right, take care.